Hi, I'm dressed as a Métis woman right now. I'm wearing a capote, which traditionally would not have been worn by the Métis women, but the men. And we're here at Fort Walsh. So a quick timeline here. 1873 is the Cypress Hills Massacre, about 2 kilometers south of here. You have some First Nations killed by American wolfers. And the news report of this kind of causes the Northwest Mounted Police to march west in 1874. They march past here and they head to what is now Fort Macleod, near modern-day Lethbridge. In 1875, they come back with James Walsh and 30 men, and they build the initial fort. It's very small. 1876, you have Sitting Bull and his Lakota defeat Custer, and in 1877, fleeing the American Army, they come to Wood Mountain, which is an outpost of Fort Walsh. 1878, reinforcements are needed to deal with Sitting Bull, and then Fort Walsh becomes the headquarters of the Northwest Mounted Police. It remains headquarters until 1882. Sitting Bull returns in 1881, mostly because his people are starving. In 1882, headquarters is moved to Regina, and Fort Walsh is dismantled in 1883 to build barracks at Maple Creek. That's basically the timeline.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. This is the most comfortably built building. On hot days, you guys would notice it a little more. It actually stays cool in here. And on cold days, when they would have turned their heat on, it stayed hot in here. It was a very, very comfortable building to live in. And of course, the commissioner could afford to live quite extravagantly. But commissioner owned a dining room. And the reason being is because Sitting Bull is up here in Canada. Now, when Sitting Bull arrived, the Canadian government said, he's not staying. Get him over the border, get his people over the border. We don't want to sign a treaty and pay for that.
This is the stable for the horses, and you will notice something different about this horse. He's branded on his front, above his front leg. Reason for that was the men would go out on their horse, and this wasn't their horse, this was a borrowed horse, and they would meet with a trader, and the trader would say, I'll give you $50 for your horse, and that's more money than a lot of them made in a year. And so they said, sure, here. And they'd come back and say, oh, my horse died. So they decided to brand him, and you better come back with that part of the horse if you're going to say that he died on the way. Now over here is the saddles. And this one, getting into the light, was an Eastern saddle. And this is what they were sent west with. And it was nothing but disaster. Their feet got frostbite, the saddles fell apart, they weren't comfortable to ride. And when they got out here, they noticed everybody had a Western saddle. So they switched. And everything that was wrong with the Eastern saddle was corrected on the Western saddle. But this is the sergeant's quarters.
If you wanted a mattress, you're going to have to go into town and get that special made for you. And they're usually just straw.
And all the sergeants in the fort
So it was quite uncomfortable, but you can roll yourself up in it.
would have been here.
We have one last duty sergeant in this building, and he's right here in the corner.
And this would have been their living quarters. This is the items that would have been issued to a Mountie.
This is where our sergeants are going to do the cooking, the cleaning, the recreation. They came out here to do a nice job.